boring weekend. The question is, how far can our country go under the chaos of Donald Trump? Last night, he's bringing an indictment against Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, undermining the integrity of the Federal Reserve. You've still got 20% of our fleet off the coast of Venezuela, even though oil companies themselves said it'll take 2 or 3 years to rebuild Venezuela's oil infrastructure. Are those ships going to remain there and blockade Venezuela for 2 to 3 years? What about our sailors, many of them from Norfolk, who are part of that blockade? While we support enormously the courage of the Iranian people to try to get rid of that awful regime in Iran, Trump is actually threatening to bomb Iran. Wouldn't that actually rally the citizens to support the regime? And in maybe the most bizarre, Trump continues to threaten to attack Greenland, a NATO ally, part of Denmark, to the point now that the British and the Germans are now sending troops to Greenland. Are we going to now suddenly attack Denmark, Britain, and Germany? Is there no part where the American people and my Republican friends will say, this is not what we signed up for. This is not our country. Independence of the Federalists. America's attacked 6 different nations less than a year under Trump. Iraq, Syria, Iran, Yemen, Nigeria, Venezuela. Our military is stretched thin. And now he's threatening to attack Greenland and blow apart NATO. Is there no boundary where people will say enough beyond the fact that we have ICE agents now in dozens of cities across America? I can only speak about Virginia, where literally with the quota of people being picked up by ICE, 75% of those folks had no criminal record at all. So the lie about ICE going after the criminals, not true. Remember, this is all of our country. It's not Donald Trump's alone to play with. One thing it wasn't was a boring weekend. The question is, how far can our country go under the chaos?
Is the United States going to war with NATO? The United States going to war with Europe? I kind of can't believe that I'm going to talk to you about the consequences of invading Greenland, but I am, because you have to take Trump seriously now. Nobody thought that we were going to be invading Venezuela or running their country a few months ago, and now we are. So he says he wants Greenland. He says he's keeping the military option on the table. So let's just talk about what that means. Here's what you need to know. It's sort of a basic thing. Greenland is a part of Denmark. Denmark is a NATO country. And the NATO treaty says that if any member is attacked, then all the other members have to come to their defense. So what you are essentially talking about here is the United States going to war with NATO. The United States going to war with Europe. You're talking about the U.S. and France being at war with each other over Greenland. We can't sort of sugarcoat this. Like, that is what we're talking about here. Now, every NATO country would have to make a decision whether they were going to rush troops to Greenland to fight America. Some maybe wouldn't, some might. Who in the United States of America wants a war between the United States and Europe over Greenland? And Donald Trump, he just sees the world in terms of real estate, right? He's not trying to fix any of your problems. He just wants a ballroom. He wants a big landmass that he probably thinks is a lot bigger than it actually is because he looks at the wrong map projection. But you're talking about war between the United States and Europe. And so it's kind of insane that we have to explain this to him and to the American public. But understand that that's where we're at right now. The President of the United States entertaining an attempt to take Greenland by military force, which, by definition, might end up putting the United States in a shooting war with France.
Here,
so what you are essentially talking
unfortunately, profoundly, because the president has declared war on our state. In the last 40 days, he has taken step after step to harm the people that I serve and that I represent. Denying disaster assistance for folks in Rio Blanco County, down south in La Plata County. Freezing childcare assistance, food assistance for hungry families across our state, trying to dismantle a scientific institution in my district. And now, denying access to clean water to 50,000 people in southeastern Colorado. It is unconscionable. It is important in this moment for members to support this override and ensure that this promise that was made to the people of southeastern Colorado is not impaired, it's not abrogated by the president's retaliation against the state of Colorado. We cannot let that become the new normal. And I will say to all of my colleagues, as you consider where you land on this particular vote, let me be abundantly clear. It does not matter if your community supported Donald Trump politically. If we don't take this step, trust me, no town is safe. No county is safe. No state is safe from political retaliation by the administration.
Any other country did this, the United States. That is, blockaded our shores, sent in a military force to apprehend a fugitive. We would view that as far from a law enforcement operation. We would view that, frankly, as an act of war. What's more, the legal rationale that this military force was merely used to accompany law enforcement for the purpose of apprehending a fugitive, Nicolas Maduro. If that were the case, that would have been the end of our involvement with Venezuela. He has been apprehended. He's been brought to court. That would be the end of it. There is no law enforcement necessity in terms of the prosecution of Maduro, that we blockade the country, that we seize oil resources, that we try to change the nature of the government. So if that was a legal rationale rather than a superficial pretext, it would be over. It is clearly not over.